Hey guys, it's Marta. Welcome to June Garden. Today I wanted to talk with you, walk with you through the garden, show you what's blooming and show you some jobs I'll be doing right now. So the plants are happy, they're blooming nicely for us. So let's go and do some things together. This year has been crazy so far. Everything is blooming all at once. It's blooming for a very short time because it's so hot in our country. We've been having temperatures like 26, 27 degrees Celsius, so it's summer temperatures. So all of the alliums that started blooming, they just bloomed for a week or 2 weeks. Normally you would get 3 weeks of blooming, so everything is happening very fast. And also the roses started blooming in May, which is unusual. We usually have roses blooming in the middle of June or at the end of June. So this year is different, and I feel like everything is going like, very fast because it's going so fast. I need to cut back all of those spent flowers of alliums. You don't need to do it, but I like to do it to have a better view of my roses. And talking about roses, here you can see Foxglove, Emily Bronte, and in the back you can see that Clematis Comtesse de Bouchot is starting to bloom. Hopefully the weather will be a bit nicer to us, so we'll have some tiny drop in temperatures next week and we'll be able to enjoy the roses for a bit longer than the alliums. So behind me you can see Constant Spry. This is a beautiful climbing rose that blooms only once and is blooming with beautiful pink flowers, but part of the rose did not bloom. I guess the frost that we had at the beginning of spring did some damage, but that happens sometimes. Unfortunately, this rose blooms only once, but then the Clematis will take over and it will be blooming with Clematis, the arch. And here more roses, more catmint and Alchemilla mollis, lady's mantle behind me, beautiful flowers. And here I've been removing all of those spent flowers of alliums, and so we can see the catmint, we can see the salvias, and of course all of the roses. Now let's do a first job to be done today. I wanted to deadhead the flowers, spent flowers of my rhododendron. This is very important to do so your plant blooms beautifully next year. And I've left some of the flowers to show you how to do it. Let's go. So my rhododendron was blooming beautifully this year. We've had 3 weeks of blooms. They looked beautiful. The hotter it got, the paler the flowers were, but they were still looking beautiful. Right now they are not looking too nicely, so you need to remove those flowers so your plant doesn't put all the energy to making seeds. You just want it to be happy without this not needed energy expenditure. So I do it one by one. I take one flower into my hand, my index finger and the thumb, and I just grab the flower, twist it slightly, and then I have it all. And this is, you have to do it one by one, which when you get a lot of blooms, that is a lot of work to be done. This is a very good composting material. And then when I remove it, I clean everything what went down on the ground. I clean everything. Then I fertilize my rhododendrons. And I think this type of fertilization, not in the spring, but now is better for my plant. My experience, of course. And then, of course, I check all of the leaves. If everything is fine, if I can see any like problems with it. If so, I do something about it. But if I don't, if I see some odd leaf that looks just strange, I just cut it out. And that is all. But that's a lot of work. You just need to go one by one, but I think it's a type of a meditation you need to do in your garden, and I really like it. Okay, now let's go to the greenhouse, but as I am walking, I am also removing the seed pods from my tree peony. One more job done. Oops, lost my clippers. I will find them. Before we get into the greenhouse, I wanted to show you the new pots that I've planted. I wanted something cold because I'm trying a lot of different compositions of annuals, and this year I paired the purple mini vista with the angel wings. Cannot remember the English name of this plant, but I will write it down in the description. I love the silver leaves and it's so cold in when you look at it, and I really like it. I also put some of those, also the Supertunia Snowdrift and the Angel Wings in the ground. And here you can see that my rose Leonardo da Vinci is starting to bloom. I have two of them next to the door of the greenhouse, and I planted some coleus in the lime color also in the ground. We'll see how it will look in a few months' time. Everything will definitely be more robust and there will be even more blooms. I really like this composition. One of my favorite this year, I think. Okay guys, one more thing. I just looked at the seed pods of my Lunaria annua. This is biennial. It blooms beautifully in spring in purple, and then the seed pods look like this. So when you dry them, they will be completely white, almost translucent. They will look beautiful. Just remove all the leaves and I will dry it upside down in a space that doesn't get direct sunlight, preferably a dark, dry space. So maybe we'll have some nice decorations for the autumn. So I have finally planted my tomatoes. They were waiting for so long in their pots. I've planted them, the ones that I sow myself. I planted them deeper than they were in a pot. I removed the lower leaves and I planted them deeply. Each one has a string attached. The string is dug up in the ground and I wrap the tomatoes around it, but only one stem. I always try to remove all of the suckers, so I always have one stem of the tomato because it's usually quite humid in our country and we can get some diseases on our tomatoes. So one stem only, and they are blooming already, so I'm hoping for some nice tomatoes. We grow them every year, and having those tomatoes from your garden, so many varieties, the black ones, the yellow ones, the speckled ones, we have them all, and I really love having tomato salads in the summer from my own greenhouse. It's like this experience is, I never want to live without it. So I've been sowing my own tomatoes for, I don't know, I think 15 years, and I have some of the varieties like Aunt Ruby's German Green, that is a green tomato, very lovely taste. It's a bit acidic but also sweet at the same time. Love it. But I'm trying some new tomatoes and they are grafted ones. I've never grown them. I got a few of them to try out, and I will let you know after the season if they were healthier, if they were having more fruit. We'll see. I think it will be very interesting. They are blooming already, so I'm really hoping for some early crop, and I cannot wait for those tomatoes. This year I will be testing something new, something that helps us not to use that many fertilizers. I'm really interested in this. This product contains bacteria that are called Azotobacter vinelandi that have the ability to take the nitrogen from the air and make it available for your plants. I'm really interested in this, and the product description says that we'll be using less fertilizer thanks to that, because you will get the nitrogen from the air. Sounds wonderful. So I'm really hoping to test it, and I will let you know at the end of the season how it worked. Okay, all the plants have been watered in. Now let's go and trim our sedums so we get more flowers and we don't get any flopping flowers. They will be all very stiff. Let's go. So here are my sedum matronas, and I really want to chop them a bit so I get more flowers. They are a bit lower growing and they don't flop on me that much. I really like this and I usually do it at the end of May. This year I could do it in the middle of May, but I was doing a lot of other stuff, but I will still do it. So I will chop the tops of the plants just after a set of leaves. Those parts that you chopped, you can either put in the water in some kind of jar and they will root in, and then you can plant them in the garden, or you can dip them in the root hormone and plant them in the ground right away. It works wonderfully and you will get more free plants. So I will be trimming right above a set of leaves, 1/3 of the plant. So this. Then I remove the lower leaves from this cut part, let's just say this much, leaving just the top. And you can put this in a rooting hormone or put it in the water. I will even try to put it just right into the ground. Some of my followers told me that it worked too. So putting that in the ground will have a new plant, and this plant will push out, will have more branches and more flowers. As you can see, my Salvia April Night is very popular with the bees. They love it. Everything is buzzing here. After the salvias will no longer be attracting the bees because the flowers will be spent, I will trim them almost right to the ground, like 2-3 centimeters from the ground. I've learned that this type of trimming of salvias is better to have more healthy stems and even more blooms in the next blooming period. So this is how I do it. Of course, you can trim them higher, but I've seen that the leaves below are getting yellow, they are getting ugly, and I have less stems. And if I trim right to the ground, I get more stems and they are very, very healthy looking. As you can see, we have so many salvias blooming right now. We have Rian, we have Salute Blue, we have April Night, and we have Compact Deep Blue. Compact Deep Blue is the salvia that is here. It is a lower form of salvia, and I really like it in the front of the border. And those bees are, you know, like, oh, so good. And look, almost the lavender is almost ready to bloom. Beginning of June. This is like the first time in my life I've seen that in Poland. So now I will take you to my dahlia patch. I will show you how to prune your dahlias to get more flowers, and I will also show you my foxgloves. They are looking incredible. June is a wonderful month to sow your biennials. These are my foxgloves. This one is a Dianthus called albus, and Hesperis matronalis, so Sweet Rocket is also a plant, or Lunaria. I know I just showed you the seed pods of. These are the plants you should sow now. You can still sow them in, I said, June, July and August, but when you sow them now, they will be bigger. And this year they will only have the leaves, they will not have the flowers. They will flower for you next year. But it's good to know now. You can see the beautiful plants. You will remember to order your seeds and to sow them. You just have to look if they are well watered. Let them be in the leaf form, and next year you can expect those beautiful blooms. You will love it. Bees will love it. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to show you is how to cut your dahlia to have more flowers. I've saved this one in a pot. You can see it only has one stem and it's already a huge stem. We want stems that are not that big because they will snap easily. So we'll be trimming our dahlias. When we trim behind the second set of leaves right here, we'll have 2 new stems growing from this part, and they will be a bit thinner, but the flowers will be as big as they should be. But it's good to make this kind of pruning to get more flowers and not to have the problem with the snapping stems of dahlias, because they can grow really, really huge. So I will be making some strings crisscrosses so the dahlias are not bending, and I'm sometimes using like a rubber string, sometimes these kind of strings, and I just tie it to those structures and the dahlias are growing upright. So this is my way of them not flopping over. Oh, this one also needs to have its head cut. Yep. Okay, the last thing I wanted to show you is something I will hopefully show you in the next video, this part of the garden, but I wanted to show you the ranunculus. They are looking beautiful. I'm really happy with the results. I got really the nice corms. They have big blooms. The flower is great, so I'm really happy about them. But my lettuce, as you can see, it is going into seed. It's so hot. It's been so hot. We've had the hottest month I can remember. I think the last time it was this hot was when I was pregnant with my daughter, who will be 22 this year. So really hot May, and the lettuce is looking like it's the middle of the summer. So we need to eat it as soon as possible because it will go bitter, and probably I will plant my zinnias here. We'll see. Let me know in the comments, how is your June looking? Is it the same as our country? Is it also this hot and it's the unusual year in your garden? Or maybe it's something different. Write us where you're from and what is happening in your garden, and which plants did you enjoy most, and which ones that you saw today in my garden were speaking to you and calling to become one of your plants in your garden. Let me know in the comments. If you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!